Hey everybody, Rorree here. Welcome to my channel, Totally Rorree International. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We have been following some stories and boy, they have been a doozy. Let me put my glass case over there. Okay, so we've been following a few stories and I just kind of want to lighten it up a little bit. Okay, all right, so I have been hearing about all the vloggers have been talking about Jada Pinkett and outing her husband and all of this stuff. Okay, sorry about that. I had to stop for a quick moment, but it seems like Jada Pinkett Smith on the Red Table Talk was having a conversation with Gwyneth Paltrow, her daughter, and Gammy. And the conversation was surrounding, you know, intimate relations. All right. And so I started hearing all of the hoopla. Oh, she keeps outing Will and Will this and Jada that. And I'm like, what in the world? And I hadn't watched Red Table Talk in a minute. So I was like, well, let me see what they're talking about. And so, the first thing I decided to do was listen to the whole thing because I know I saw a response and it said something like Jada finally responded and she said basically it was like a non-response, like go watch it for yourself and then you don't won't even have an issue or whatever, right? So I decided, okay, I'm gonna watch for myself and let's see what are these people talking about. Okay, so I watched it and I took notes. So I'm just going to, like, I'm not that good yet where I know how to do that review thing where y'all review a video and all that stuff. I'm not a techie. Okay, so you just get everything live, unedited, unscripted with me. Okay. All right. So the name of the presentation, it said sex conversations. Okay. Um, and the first question that was asked was, where did you learn about sex? Intimate relations, because I don't even know what you could say on YouTube anymore. Golly, they always telling me I said something wrong or something. I don't even know what they're talking about. And I done went through all their little videos. I'm still confused as to what community guidelines I'm violating or something. I have no idea. But anyway, so where'd you learn about that topic? Okay. And Willow says she learned about it from books. That's where she learned the most, from books. And I was like, okay. And then what were you told was another question that they answered. And what they were told was the older ones, like my generation or above, they were told that the first time will be hurtful and it may not be all that, right? And I don't recall being told that, but I don't recall the talk at all. Okay. um, but you know, some of us, that's what we experienced. It wasn't all that at first. Some of us had different kinds of experience. I know my first experience was not consensual, so of course that wasn't all that. So you know so when they said that the first time would be hurtful, whatever, Willow said, well, she disagreed with that. And so and I could see that that might not be everybody's experience. And nowadays things are so publicized that um people may know more now how to have an enjoyable experience. And to me, when you say that to your child, you may be um planting that seed for them, for it to manifest into not so great an experience that first time. Okay, so I kind of agree with Willow on that. Like, and they understood her point of view as well. And then Gammy said she was told pleasure. She was never told that pleasure existed in the intimate act. And Like they never talked about it being pleasurable. And I don't feel like I recall that either. Like in the conversations, like pleasure wasn't a part of the conversation, you know? So and so then they went into social media roles in exploiting or expressing others' aspects of the intimate act. And that is so true because we didn't have this when I was younger. You know, when I was younger, we didn't have, you know, shoot, when we first got a cell phone, how old was that? I mean, I might have been in college when they first had cell phones, and it was like this big and this long and narrow, like this wide, and it came in this case. And you had to put it, the case was like big, man, because it was a big old battery pack inside there. You put the thing in the case, it was a big old thing, right? It wasn't no little thing. When we first got a cell phone. And I don't even know if I was in college. I don't remember when cell phones came out, but I know I was much older. So social media certainly wasn't popping. I mean, it might have just gotten started, but things weren't as in your face, you know. So anyway, let's see. Gwyneth said that sexual Gwyneth. Okay, but before I go into that, let me see. Okay, yes. Okay, so Gwyneth Paltrow has some sexual wellness program or whatever. And what is it called? I wrote what it was called somewhere else. I think it's called Sex, Love, and Goop. I think. Okay, I'm not positive, but I think that's what her program's called. But y'all can go to the Red Table Talk and watch for yourselves. And that's probably what everybody should do before they start commenting on it. Okay, so because if they watched it, they would not have been commenting the way they were commenting. That's all I got to say. All right. So Gwyneth was saying that there are some disconnections from self due to shaming and trauma. And that is true. Some people have experienced different things as they grew up, and they have shame or guilt, or they experience some kind of trauma from whatever experience their experiences were, maybe when they were younger, maybe they were forced to have a relation or something like that, I don't know. But a lot of the experience are anchored in shame and trauma. And these, maybe you have to get over them so that you can enjoy that intimate experience. Okay, some women tend to be shy to talk about intimate relations. That is true. You know, I was one of those people, but like I have so many friends who were not that person, but I was that person that was kind of prudish with talking about it or what have you. But I definitely had friends that were not, that were opposite of me. Okay, fearing talking to partners about what they like and don't like. Well, I could honestly say yeah to that. You know, I was that person that I didn't know how to say certain things. You know, I might talk about it to my friends, but I might not have talked about it to my boyfriend or my intimate partner, you know? And so, I mean, I can really relate to what these ladies were discussing. And these are things that I had to grow and learn how to get over, you know. But like, how do you tell your partner, like I remember one of my boyfriends, he never performed oral, okay? And we dated for a couple years, and I was just like, how come you never do that? You know what I mean? Because he was of a certain size, and like orgasms really weren't happening. You know, he was a larger size, but for whatever reason, orgasms weren't happening. And I was just like, it'd be nice if you did something else, you know, but I was saying all that inside my head. And so he never knew that, you know, the experience was just for me. Okay. And like sometimes, and he had longer hair. And I remember just laying there. I remember this one time I was laying there like, really? Like all his damn hair was all in my face, you know, and I was just like, is this supposed to be enjoyable? You know, and this is what I'm thinking while I'm laying there. But did I say anything? No. So this joker probably think he was doing the darn thing. You know what I mean? I remember when I was young, one of my boyfriends, he would like do this growl thing. And I'd be like, he must think he doing something. But did that ever come out my mouth? Did I ever, in a very nice way, say anything about the experience? Did I try to explore my body, explore his body, share with him what things might make me feel a little bit better? Did I do any of that? No, because I too was that person. I was, um, a little shy. It looks like I'm having some difficulties. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Okay. So it's still delayed. Let me see. Okay. Let's see if it works now. It's still messed up. What in the world is going on? Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep it moving because I don't know what's up with this video. But anyway, if it, I just, by the end of it, I hope it all works out. Okay. So let's keep it going. Okay, so I was just sharing some of my little lovely experiences and the fact that I can relate to what the women are saying. Um, Fearing talking to a partner about what they like and don't like. And I remember I was telling this story about the man with hair all in my face or whatever during the intimate acts, and just being like, ugh. So I finally asked one day, do you ever do that? And he said no. And I said, well, have you ever done it before? And he said no. And I said, oh. I was like, okay, so that's why he never do that. And I guess I don't know how men learn how to satisfy a woman. I don't know how they learn how to satisfy a woman. I guess they have to be taught. And so that's when it dawned on me that all this time I'm feeling like about the experiences, and I never opened my mouth. I mean, I wonder how many other women did that. And we dated for a couple years, like 2 or 3 years, and I had never said anything until later on in the relationship. And it was like, oh, and I'm like, dang, they need to have a tutoring class on that or something. But I guess that would have been my job to express the situation. I'm sorry, my phone keeps distracting me. Let me put it over here so it can stop. Okay. But yeah, so I guess, if I was a good girlfriend, I would have opened my mouth and share with him. But there was reservation about that. So I can understand what these women were saying. Okay. What has healed on their journeys. So these are things they were talking about. And then you have to speak up for yourself and be accountable for your sexual selves. That's what they said. And that's what I realized after recognizing that this grown man had never had that experience. And here I'm assuming that all men have had that experience. And, he didn't really know how to satisfy me, but I didn't help him none. You know what I'm saying? So I was not being accountable for myself, and then I've been okay. Okay, so I've already shared that. Accountability. We should be accountable for our realities versus being a victim. Okay, I agreed with that. Then Jada shared, she stated that this journey started at 22 years old. And she said, you expect your partner to know And if you love me, you should know. And that's the clip that everybody has heard that they're really going to town with, bashing her. Okay. And you should be able to read my mind. But that was just the clip. Okay. And that's the misconception that most of those women, except probably Willow, but I think Willow was off the line at this time, but she was the only younger one. Okay. Um, but these are the thoughts that we had. Like, you supposed to have ESP and you supposed to know how to satisfy me. And we, we don't even have the conversations with guys. We just assume they know, you know? And I remember when I started having conversations, then I started learning how men learned. And so they learned in many different ways, Some men learned through more adult women who took advantage of them. Some men just had a whole lot of experiences. Some men had a mature woman that taught him what a woman likes, And so, I was just like, wow, and these are things that I learned on my journey that I had to open my mouth. And I know one of my boyfriends that I had for many, many years, we did start exploring, but we were very similar. Our personalities were very, very similar. So we weren't afraid to talk to each other. We were very ourselves with one another. And so I remember one day he showed me a video of what he likes. He said, I like it like this, but I like it like this, and I like it like that. And so let's try that. And then he did different things with me as well, and tried different things. So we both were like, we were kind of open with those conversations, but I'm gonna tell you, he was more open than I was. Still, he was more open with I was than with the explaining the specifics of how it was liked, what he liked, what he didn't like, or whatever. But that, you know, I had pleasant experiences with that relationship over those many years because I feel like we were more open and honest with each other. So when Jada was saying this, when she said she expected the person to have ESP and all this, she said she was 20 something. Well, when I was younger too, this is what I thought. I might have been in my 40s before I started talking and expressing what I really thought and felt and wanted and stuff like that. Honestly. So I felt like, why are they bashing her for saying that when she was not alone, I am sure, in those misconceptions. And she was saying that she was wrong for believing that. They all agreed that the older ones, felt like that, and that was so wrong. And so they were correcting themselves. They were showing their growth and maturity. But everybody bashed Jada, talking about, yeah, she calling Will out, talking about he ain't good, blah, 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 blah. That's not what she said at all. You could tell that all the bloggers that said that BS, they didn't watch it. Because if they watched it and if they had some common sense or the ability to comprehend, because I know, they don't teach comprehension in school. They don't teach people, people these days, they don't think well, they don't comprehend well. That's just my opinion, okay? And so, well, maybe either you didn't watch it or you got a low IQ. And I have a feeling it's the fact that you didn't watch it and you're just jumping to conclusions and jumping on the bandwagon, trying to assassinate somebody's character, trying to call people out on their relationship when these people have said they had an open relationship. So why you all up in their business? Who cares? That's their business. Okay. Don't nobody care unless you trying to get with them, one of them. Who the hell cares? All in their bed. Okay. Now, feeling crushed when they don't read our minds. Yes, she was saying how when the guys don't read your mind, you feel crushed. That's how it used to be so disappointing. But you know, these guys, some of them don't know what the hell they doing because they ain't had no teacher and all us scared to talk, you know. But the kids today, holy, like what they show on TV, on videos and stuff, we didn't have all that. You know, when they came out with MTV and VH1 and all that, we didn't have all of that. We didn't have all that. The biggest thing we had was, I like big butts and I cannot lie. And he had on them big bubble butts. You know, that was the biggest thing we had, right? And then came the other crew that came out, and then everybody had a big old butt and all that, you know. Then all of that started, all the vulgarities in the videos. But it wasn't like that when I was young. You know, when we first had the videos and stuff, it was kind of like theatrical. It was like, it was amazing to watch these videos, you know? And so, but see, that's like old news, y'all. Y'all grew up on having videos and all that stuff. That was new for us. And all the vulgarities and stuff wasn't in the videos at first, you know? So anyway, they've all grown out of that mentality and maturity. Okay, yes. Okay. I already said that. Okay. And then they were talking about there was more fantasy surrounding intimate relations for the older folks, for us, for my generation. It was more fantasy. Okay. Gammy has said, you know how confused we were because of porn? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I mean, but for real, even with the porn today, what is that? That's not intimacy. I don't know what that is. But it, unfortunately, to me, for the kids of today, I think they have a wrong impression of what intimate relations should look like. Because if you think it should look like all this pornish foolishness, I don't feel that that's correct. And I feel like that's why we have so many women that get abused and taken advantage of and things of that nature because of the total misconception of what healthy loving relationships look like. You know, these videos and the TV and the television and all that, they have really crafted a horrible, to me, but I'm an older person. They've crafted something that just doesn't look healthy or nurturing or looks kind of sad. You know, everybody got a big old fake butt. It's like, what is that? I don't really understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I'm not getting into that. But I mean, like, do you guys really like that? Just really? Do y'all like to look at it? Or does it, I don't even know what they feel like. Like, does it feel the same? You know, I remember I used to take Zumba all the time. And this one girl came in there. She was a different nationality. I don't know what she was, but she wasn't brown. And like every time she did stuff, and like I was a Zumba queen, I'd be up in the front and I'd be doing it, and you know, it's a big old mirror and everything, so you can see what's going on behind you. And this girl, like every time she moved her leg, the butt like had this dip and it just didn't look right. It looked like it wasn't connected right. I was like, what the hell wrong with her butt? You know? And I just kept looking at it. I was so distracted. I'm sorry, but I was so distracted the whole class. I was just distracted, like, what is wrong with her butt? And back then, I didn't know about all the fake butts and stuff, right? So, I mean, her butt really had my attention that day. But, but I just can't imagine. What does it look like? Ew. I don't know. I'm just not into the fake butt thing. If you love it, good for you. I don't really care, you know, because I'm not into women like that. So I don't really care. You know, if you and your man, you and your woman like it, then I love it for you. Okay. So anyway, next back to this story. Young girls feeling like they must be screwed that way. So yeah, she was talking about the whole porn thing. This is Gammy feeling like the young girls must think that that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, you could tell like all the over sexualized everything that's on the internet. It's like, what is going on? You know, it's like porn. Just turn on the social media and I'm seeing butts and inappropriate poses to me. And I'm an older person, so I might be more prudish, but why every pose? Now, back in the day, we did pose like that and all that, right? But I ain't have a big old booty, so I probably wasn't sticking my butt out, you know, because you wouldn't have got to see much. Oh boy. But back in the day, we did pose like that, like, you know, but now, but see, back in the day, our parents probably said the same thing. Why are you posing with your butt out? Whatever, you know. So, but now it's just like, is there anything left for the imagination? I mean, like, y'all stick the booty out, y'all don't be having nothing on, you know, half the booty hanging out. It's like, what the hell? Bathing suit, big old, like, what in the world? The bodies be looking like the Barbie doll. Didn't y'all know that was fiction? Like, that was a doll. You know what I mean? You're not supposed, like, really? Who has, I don't understand. Anyway, that's just me. All right. Helping teens navigate over sex behavior on the internet, hyper exposure. So that was something that they discussed, and I really feel like that's something that really needs to happen. Children today, I mean, they're talking about sex like in the like in the elementary school now, like really. But I really feel like we have to help our kids know what, or just to navigate things a little bit better. It's just too over sexualized. Like sex ain't nothing. Like we used to be concerned about diseases back in the day. Are they not concerned about that? Like all these people messing with all these different people and all these babies. Like really? I'll be hearing about the diseases. Back in the day, we was concerned about that. Today, don't nobody be talking about that. You know what I mean? I know with some diseases, like with HIV, now you can take some medicine. And, you know, I have clients. Well, I've had clients. I don't have that population anymore. Well, yeah, I do have a few, you know, but you know, you could get your levels to a point where it's not recognizable. And I'm just like, well, doesn't that mean you don't have it anymore? Or do they just want you to keep taking this medication to make some money? I don't understand, but whatever. I know some people get rid of that. So how come all people don't get rid of that? I don't know. But it don't feel like anybody's concerned about that anymore. Or maybe that was just a thing. Was that the thing? Was that the thing? Just like the cucarachis, that's the thing right now, right? And after next year, it's gonna be another thing. They're gonna come up with a new thing, you know, that we're gonna be focused on. But it just doesn't seem like anybody's focused on STDs. I don't understand. It's so much sex out there, like everywhere you look. And I mean, and like, what is OnlyFans? I heard some things. I was like, is that what people are doing? Oh my God. See, I'm so old. I don't know what these kids doing these days, but I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Like, I'm the stuff that I hear that's going on, like some sheet thing, like some sheet with some holes in it, and some girl doing some stuff with some sheet and some holes and some men. It's like, what? And they got a name for it. Like what? So anyway, I'm with the older folk on this table talk. Okay. As parents, we need to help our children. We need to watch and pay attention. Listen, watch, pay attention, educate. All right. They talked about the elementary schools talking about the stuff. Let's see. Then another lady came on, Jaya or something like that. She's a sex education coach. She has an erotic blueprint. So she was talking about that. That was very interesting. Check that out. And what else? girls who don't know if they've had an orgasm. Yeah, people that I hadn't had an orgasm in a long time. You know, like when I first started, I ain't never had no orgasm. I was like, what does it feel like? That's what I was saying to my friends because I know. Okay, so that means stuff wasn't being done right, but I know how to teach somebody. How the hell would I know? I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, but as I got older, I read books, I watched videos, and I talked to people. I talked to guys and I talked to women about the experiences so that I could learn, you know, and then you might learn by touching yourself. They even went into different items that you could get like from the dollar store instead of going to, you know, the store where everything is kind of pricey. You can go to the dollar store and they showed you different little things that you could get that you could use to explore your bodies, you know, to see where your sensual zones are. I know this wasn't in the film, but I know with one of my astrologer friends, he's also a Reiki master and he has other credentials under his belt, but he actually knows by looking at my chart where my zones are. I was like, get out. Like he knew, well, you would like this. This is where your mate should touch you. This is where da 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 da. And I was like, well, damn, that was on point because that's true, you know. So that's something else, you know. If you know an astrologer that's really into their craft, not a basic astrologer, okay. This man lives, breathes, drinks, you know, astrology and his craft, you know. So not a basic person because they might not know how to do this, but that's something else that you could do to help you find. But why not you and your mate explore your bodies together to see what you like from what you don't like? Okay, so anyway, what else? They talk, they these are some of the things they were using: a vibrating toothbrush, okay? Just to like maybe run the bristles over you. You can see what feels more sensual than what doesn't. You know what I mean? They had a paddle, like one paddle was like a ping pong ball paddle or a bat and ball paddle, or a little wooden spoon could be used as a paddle. And they talked about the differences in the feel as you're seeing what's going on, see what you like. They talked about different types of ways that you enjoy things. They had the sensual, the energetic person, the sensual person, the sexual person, the kinky person, or the shape shifting person. The energetic person was turned on by anticipation, by having space, by being teased, by longing for catching your eye, gazing at you across the room, something like that. Okay, the central, that was the energetic person. The energetic person, the central person. Likes candles to be lit, just closeness, slow dance, and stuff like that. Okay, the sexual person likes penetration and nudity and probably like what you see all over social media. The kinky person is what you see all over social media too. They like the taboo stuff. They're turned on by what seems taboo. Psychologically kinky, giving up power, like maybe S&M and stuff like that. Okay, role playing, things like that. And then you had the shape shifting person, and this is all from that girl, the last person that joined them, Jaya or something like that. Shape shifting person likes all of it. Okay, I ain't gonna tell y'all which one I am. Okay, and then girls. Okay, so I thought that was really interesting. Okay, and so you hear I ain't saying nothing else about Jada and her husband. Okay, her only comment was that she was guilty of expecting little young Will to have ESP and know exactly what to do. That she was guilty of, you know, being young. Okay. Then they talked about different types of orgasm, and when she was talking about, you know, people not knowing what an orgasm was really like, and not knowing that there are different types of orgasms, and like orgasms go through different things. But dang, I didn't learn some of that till in my 40s. Okay. I'm just being honest. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know, like you don't always have to like explode at the beginning. You could breathe through it, and then allow another one to come and breathe through that, and to heighten the feeling and take it in. It's like it's a lot to it, okay? And when you're young and did nobody teach you, you don't know. Okay. So they talked about genital sneeze, the G spot, the pelvic floor, types of clitoral floor, what's the clitoris look like, just exploring the clitoris. I learned something new. They had an example of what a clitoris looked like, and all of that. Okay. And they went over how important it is to know the body. And so that was about it. So why is it trending that she outed Will and trying to make it seem like Will can't do the do? I tell you, these people are special. But it caused me to watch, and I hadn't watched in over a year. So thank you, because I watched again, and I really enjoyed the episode. I usually enjoy the Red Table Talk, so I'll probably start watching it again. So hopefully Jada and Gammy and Willow got some good ratings from them blasting all that foolishness, lies all over social media. Hopefully y'all got some good ratings from that. I enjoyed the episode, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And it definitely is a reminder of us to pay attention to our children and to help them navigate life, navigate these experiences, help them to know that it doesn't have to look like what you see all over social media, help them to know how to love themselves. If we teach our children how to love themselves, then maybe we won't see so much nudity, so much over sexualized stuff everywhere. I mean, it's really interesting that on Twitter and on Instagram, I could bump into full-fledged nudity, sex and stuff. Like, what the hell is this? And but they want to take off somebody because they don't like, because one person, because of political stuff. You like this person, you don't like this person. Everybody who likes this person gets taken off of social media. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who doesn't believe in the cucarachi gets taken off of their channels. You know, anybody that wants to talk about how you can prevent something related to the cucarachi, you get taken off of social media. But you want to let my children, my daughter, you want to let everybody's kids bump into all this sex, all this foolishness, these videos with all this craziness, you know, the satanic stuff is just in your face, in your face. At least back in the day, they used code words in the songs and they used backmasking and stuff. Not saying it is good, but damn, at least it was overt and they was trying to hide it. Now you got people having sex with a darkie, a demon or whatever. You got people dressed up in blood. What? I don't understand. How come it's okay to do all of this buffoonery, but it's not okay to but it's not okay to just have a different opinion? I don't understand that. I don't think I'm ever going to understand that, but that's not what this is about. But let's be there for our children. And ladies, talk to your partners. Let them know how they can make you feel better. You know what I mean? I do have to say something. Ladies, especially if you're talking to men, you do have to say things in a certain way that you don't destroy their ego. because you could just come out your mouth and say something and it could really crush them. I remember my college, I remember, I might be giving too much away, but I remember somebody that I dated. And although I was all in love, that wasn't so good. And somehow, in me trying to make it better, I gave him the impression that it wasn't so good. Okay. Now, I wasn't going to leave just because of that. But whatever I must have said, or however I made him feel, he stopped feeling secure in the relationship. So, ladies, and I talk to too many women who end up finding out that their mates were insecure with them intimately because they did not feel like they could satisfy them. So this is something that men and women really do need to talk about, and we need to be able to open up and talk without taking away somebody's masculinity or making a and she can never make you feel good or whatever. I know women, when the men step out and they be cheating and all that stuff, that does make a woman feel like she wasn't good enough to, you know, even though usually that has nothing to do with it, ladies. It usually has to do with the man's low self-worth in the first place. But that's a whole nother subject. And I'm not trying to rag on anybody. I'm just telling you my truth. Okay. So, anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed. See, here it goes. Here it goes. It's acting stupid. But I hope y'all enjoyed this segment about the Red Table Talk with Gwyneth Paltrow, with the conversations. See, it's messing up. But I'm just going to end on that note, y'all. Like and subscribe and share, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Ashe.